go. In the meantime, Donald Trump holding very fast onto hopes of sweeping the polls in all 5 states in today's primaries. Reminder, Trump is expected to speak at 9 p.m. Eastern tonight at Trump Tower in New York after the results are announced. In advance of that, Trump has been under attack, as you heard from Jeff, from rivals Ted Cruz and John Kasich, who formed this alliance in an attempt to prevent Trump from winning the delegates needed to clinch the nomination. But has that effort been working, and where should Donald Trump be most concerned as he tries to close the deal on his party's nomination? Trump campaign national spokesperson Katrina Pierson with me live. Is it Indiana, Katrina?
Well, I think right now, Mr. Trump is focused on closing out tonight. And of course, we're going to be moving into Indiana. But, I just have to say, when we talk about reaching that goal of 1237 prior to a convention, it was just a few days ago, Liz, where these candidates, both of the other candidates, were saying that it was impossible. Nobody's going to get there. We're going to a convention. And then all of a sudden, they're trying to join forces because they knew this whole time that Donald Trump was on track to secure the nomination prior to a convention.
Boy, I have to tell you, I can remember going back to November, and I was thinking about this today, Katrina, where people were sitting right next to me, pundits, and saying, remember, it's early. Back in November, back during when Rudy Giuliani had run, by February he was out. Donald Trump might be out. Oh, he is far from out. That said, you now have this alliance, but you also have something that the New York Post brought up today, and that is Marco Rubio. Little Marco, not so little anymore, was the comment they were making, because he has 171 committed delegates that he possibly could control to move to the Cruz side, the Kasich side, or what have you. How are you going to handle that?
Well, Mr. Trump has already said that he doesn't like the whole whining and dining of delegates, and so he really just wants to put his message out there. Even to Marco Rubio's supporters and those delegates who are supporting Rubio, in Florida for that matter, there are plenty of delegates who are looking at Mr. Trump, mainly because they see what the voters in the Republican Party have been saying. We've been told from the beginning that Donald Trump can't get a majority. As candidates drop out, they're going to coalesce around other people. And the latest Fox News poll shows that Donald Trump is going up and Senator Ted Cruz is going down. So the rhetoric isn't matching the results. Mr. Trump has millions more voters, hundreds more delegates. He has the excitement, the enthusiasm. He's the only Republican that has demonstrated he can win in the Northeast, in the South, in the West, even among Hispanics. So when we're looking at November, Republicans are starting to realize that Donald Trump is the only Republican best suited to go up against Hillary.
I just want to clarify one thing. You talk about Nevada and how he won the Hispanic vote. He won a plurality of what was about 30% or so. So I just want to be clear.
Puerto Rico came in second in Puerto Rico. He beat Ted Cruz with Hispanics in Florida, in New York. There's a consensus there.
There is, but we also have to ask you about something that developed in the last couple of hours, and that is Donald Trump kind of egging on Bernie Sanders. We can show you the tweet, but in essence what he was saying is that Bernie is being treated unfairly and should abandon the Democratic Party and run as an independent. I mean, is he pulling this stuff out on his own? Is this something that Paul Manafort, his new campaign advisor, is pushing for?
Well, no, I mean, if we go back to the very beginning, when Mr. Trump first entered this race, he was the one that raised his hand. He feels that there's injustice in the political system, then all voices should be heard. And in the case of Bernie Sanders, unlike on the Republican side, Bernie Sanders didn't stand a chance because of the superdelegate system. He's out there, he's fighting, he obviously has a lot of support and excitement behind his campaign. So why not give those people an option in November who will not support Hillary Clinton and who don't want to vote Republican?
I got to get to the presidential issue, this quote presidential issue, because it means different things to different people. But even Donald Trump brings it up and says, they're telling me to be more presidential. My daughter's telling me to be more presidential, etc. I would imagine that some of his people are telling him, just maybe make it just a little bit higher brow, and he is pushing back. Is the next headline we're going to read, or one of the next headlines, that Paul Manafort is leaving the Trump campaign because Donald Trump is not taking his advice?
No, I don't think so. And from the beginning, we've always said that, let Trump be Trump. And he's already mentioned being more presidential when the time is right. And really, we're talking about a conditioning program, not necessarily presidential. He has fun at rallies. He jokes, he laughs, he entertains. His fans love him. They love him. And when we do hear about these unpresidential comments, they're at these rallies, and the crowd loves it. They engage him. They adore him when he has fun with those individuals. But when we go into speeches, look at AIPAC. We have another speech coming up this week on foreign policy. You will see a presidential side of Donald Trump. But when he's out there among his supporters who are very excited because he's going to be the next president of the United States, and many of them have watched him and his family for decades, this is a great moment in American history, and people should just sit back and enjoy it.
Katrina, great to have you. Thank you very much.
Great to be here.
Busy lady. She always
you.
gets in front of my cameras. I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Anytime.